This episode of After the Table is brought to you by Humble Bundle. Whether you're adding more resources to your GMing library, picking up a new skill, or adding games to your rotation, Humble Bundle has you covered with bundles of goodies ready to download. Plus, each bundle helps out a charity, so you're getting nerdy stuff and being a good person at the same time. You'll always be surprised with what they have. I got all my BTM books from Humble Bundle, and trust me, I am quite satisfied with all the new powers I can give my character Ashley. Use my affiliate link and help out the podcast. Link is in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to a very special episode of After the Table, a TTRPG podcast. It's the beginning of Pride Month, and we're counterspelling everything, bitches. We're counterspelling. I love this shirt. I found it on TikTok, and I was just like, I have to get this. So, it's your favorite drag queen who's not in drag, and you know what? If you have a problem with that, I'll say it. Go fuck yourself. I don't care. But yeah, I'm your favorite person to argue with on the internet, Shelly Von Miller, because I truly don't give a fuck. I've been on the internet way too long, and anything you can say to hurt me, I've said to myself before. It's okay. I know that you're wrong, and it's okay that you're wrong. But outside of that, we have an amazing person to kick off Pride Month. They like to get into internet arguments themselves, and honestly, I love just watching them just tear people apart. It's amazing. They are a game designer, a professional GM, and if you want some insightful takes in the TTRPG space, they are the ones to give it. Welcome to the table, VJ Harris. Welcome.
Hi. Hey guys, since you're seeing this the first day of Pride, I do gotta make it very clear. I'm a very queer man, bisexual, trans, and I guess, I don't know if I feel like polyamory is inherently queer in there, but I'm gonna add it because it's part of my queerness, so hi guys.
And there you go.
Mm-hmm. And my pronouns are they, them, he, him, and something funny, so keep that in mind if you ever talk to
honk.
me.
Honk / honk honk. Something funny. Clowns.
I'll take it.
Clowns are funny.
I'll
Clowns
take
are
it.
funny.
Funny enough, used to be deathly afraid of clowns because of
what?
it. But I got over it.
I can't say much. I was tortured as a child with Chucky dolls. So, dolls don't do well with dolls. I had dolls growing up. I think we've established this story on the pod before, but I used to hide them at the top of my closet and close the door, so if they ever fell down and tried to open the door, I would hear them and wake up, because I was a very light sleeper whenever I was a kid. So outside of that, hi everyone. Please introduce yourself for those who might not know who you are.
Hi, yeah, like I said, my name's VJ Harris. I am VJH Creations everywhere on the internet. If you type it somewhere and an iteration of it pops up, that's me. And if it's not me, somebody stole my shit, and you should tell me so I can go fight them and claim it. I am a professional TTRPG designer. I've worked on things with companies such as Draco Studios, Cubicle 7, MCDM Productions, and some others that I'm not remembering. And I might be most well known for the Elf and an Cat Little Baby series. It's got 4 volumes. It breaks down race into parentage and upbringing, and it tries to correct some of the bioessentialism that was inherent in D&D 5e. 5.5 has moved away from that, which is great. And yeah, I make a lot of now that I've moved away from D&D just for a little break, I make a lot of indie guys. I'm having a lot of fun with that. And oh yeah, I run professional TTRPG games. I love running games for people. I love new players because I want to set the best experience for you at the start, so you know not to take anybody else's shit.
Honestly, I think that's amazing, especially if you're wanting to teach people, like, hey, if somebody says something fucking whack at your table, just whack them upside. Well, don't whack. You know what? Well, if they deserve it, whack them upside the head. That I think we've established on this podcast that a little violence is always okay.
Mm-hmm. Violence is the answer sometimes.
Violence is the answer within reason. Within reason. But how did you get started in TTRPGs? What's your origin story, as it were?
So, I went to the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and I wanted to get a creative writing major, but we only had a minor. I'd have to get my master's to get the major. So I picked communications as like a fallback. You know, it's a solid career choice. You can go a lot of places with it. But there was this thing called the New College, which was an interdisciplinary studies. So you'd have to mash up different majors and like come up with a plan for what you were doing with that. I did that for creative writing with a focus in African American, queer, and women's studies. And because I was a new college, we had a lounge we can get into. And there was this guy, and like at the end of our 4 years, or however many years it takes us to do our thing, we have to do like a dissertation about what we've been working on. And there's this guy that was doing something about games. And he was like, hey, anybody want to play Dungeons and Dragons? Never done it before. I was like, yeah, me. I don't remember anything about the situation except there were monkeys in a barrel. Like that stuck in my head. And I fell in love with the game. And it wouldn't be until like... And this was like 2012, 2013 when this happened. It wouldn't be until 2015 when I actually started playing it consistently. My roommate liked Dungeons and Dragons, so we'd go to Adventures League, and then we started our home games like a few months after that.
That's amazing. Okay, Monkeys in the Barrel, like the game Monkeys in a Barrel?
No, like there were monkeys in the barrel in the D&D scenario. Like
I was thinking like he integrated D&D with Monkeys in a Barrel, like some people do with like Jenga or like any type of playing card. I'm like, oh,
that would have been cool. That's
cool. Monkeys in a Barrel, like you're like as a team working exercise. I don't fucking know. But that I will say this right now, as somebody who's done Adventures League as well, it is very hit or miss, the type of tables that you get. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to go back to, or I'm going to go start my own thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I got lucky that I had a pretty good table.
That's good. That's good. So did you start off at that first campaign with like a DM that y'all knew, or did one of y'all take up the helm?
So, okay, I wasn't supposed to go first. Someone else was supposed to go first, but he didn't show up. And everybody turned and looked at me. It's like, hey, can we play? And I was like, give me 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. And then, yeah, I started us off, and God, was it a learning experience. I let one of the players, the rogue, do a coup de grace on an entire barrack of guards. I'm never doing that again. But
wow.
Yeah. It was a journey. I learned from my mistakes, and here we are now.
I think that's the whole point, though, of like learning as you go. Even if you've played the game before, you're learning something new. You're learning a new skill. And if you're not able to grow and adapt and like learn from your past mistakes, as somebody who also had someone be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna wreck this whole thing that you set up as a whole multi-session thing, by being a druid that can fly, that can transform into a flying creature.
Well,
you know, we live in, we learn. And that's
we live
okay.
and we learn.
We live and we learn. But how did you get into the actual play space?
Yeah, so... Damn, how did I... At some point, I think it was like 2018, I realized there was like an online community for TTRPGs. And I fell in love. I started off in the space doing like reviews of stuff. And then I'd done some like chill kind of rules for like poltergeist possessions and whatnot, because I'd run Dragon Heist for some players, and they had a poltergeist in the thing, and I didn't really like the rules for it. So I made that. It was my first product. I sold 50 copies. It needs a serious revamp. I keep telling myself I'm going to go back to it. But all of that was happening. And then the conversation around race in D&D happened. And I was like, oh my God, I have a degree in this. I can talk about this. And then, because of that, I got on like some ancestry projects before. Like there was a huge boom in that. And then my good buddy Adam Hancock was like, "Hey, do you want to do this project?" Which is where an elf and an orc had a little baby come from, and it kind of skyrocketed me into the space. I was like, we were designing that. I was getting other opportunities. I was designing other things like with other DMs Guild authors, and it just kind of like I credit my actual like the start of my success in this space to that project. But yeah, that's how I kind of whoop in here.
That's interesting because for people who don't look at DM's Guild as like a way to connect and kind of network, because it's all like individual like indie publishers or like even just like well-known publishers putting their stuff on a platform. You don't realize that. You're like, oh, how did I guess like what's the networking aspect of that? How did that all start?
Yeah, so, God, for me, because still when Twitter wasn't the hellhole that it quite is now.
Oh, Twitter. Yeah. I miss old Twitter. As somebody who was around at the beginning of Twitter, I'm like, I miss you, Twitter.
I miss pre-Elon Musk Twitter, too. But, yeah, no, to start off with, it was very much like people reaching out either email or through like my like DMs and whatnot. Hey, you want to do a thing? Or somebody doing an open call for designers, like, hey, I'll do it. I have an idea. Or also me putting out like a hey, there's a Wild Beyond the Witchlight product that I was the project like I was in charge of, and I was doing it. I didn't write anything in it because at the time I procrastinated, and I said we have a date right here that we're not moving past. So I just put it all together. So it was very much like finding the ways to communicate with each other. And then at a certain point, there was a DM's Guild, and it still exists. There was a DM's Guild creator Discord where like all of us could come in and like talk and like be like, hey, I'm looking for somebody to do this. I have this idea, etc., etc., which made it a whole lot easier and centralized in that regard. But very, I don't know if is grassroots the right word? I don't think so. But very
well, digital roots, digital, digital.
Yeah, to start off with.
That weird digital mutual type of networking that you don't realize is networking until you're like, wait a minute, how did I get on this project? How did this happen? I when people ask me if I want to do things all the time, I'm like, how do you know me? How am I here? What's going on? I guess, how did you, for those who are thinking like, oh, I want to make my own things, which is, I feel like nowadays in the AP space or in the TTRPG creator space, content creator space, there's a lot of people coming in and being like, I want to make my own stuff now. I want to publish this. What is some advice that you would be like, okay, hey, as somebody who didn't necessarily have the tools like this before or had to cobble them along the way, these are the things that you should be doing?
First off, I would definitely suggest joining like game jams with pre-existing systems before you like start making your own, so you can get a feel of what people are doing with stuff. Or if you're not going to do a game jam, I would suggest like making supplementary material for things that already existed, right? Because that's what I did with An Elf and Orc Had a Little Baby. I started with the foundation of D&D, started designing from that, designed more in it, and then like I branched out to other TTRPGs, and eventually I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna cobble together this. I'm gonna do that. Which, hey guys, there's nothing new under the sun. There's a bajillion systems. So even if you're like, somebody's probably already done it. Which is not to say you shouldn't do your iteration of it. I'm never saying that, right? Like there's a couple of zombie mork board games, and I'm still like, I'm gonna make my own because I didn't like those. But it's just to say that there are a lot of examples out there, and designing across them, even if it's just a personal project, even if it's just you put up for free, is going to help you refine your design style. And like, yeah, it's going to help you refine your design style. So design for something first, something small. Don't go like, I'm going to make the next D&D killer. No, you're not. Probably not, anyway.
Look, it's really hard to make that. And, I mean, Unless you have a lot of money behind you.
And even then...
you can try and try again. And it's okay. Hey. It will happen. Mm-hmm. something will be on... we've gotten into this discussion before, and it's one of the questions that I always ask at the end of table sets, which, if you want to watch any table sets to include this one that we're going to do later on, join the Patreon, become a paid member, yada yada. I always talk about indie. We always talk about indie and commercial TTRPGs and like which one we favor over the other. But what would you constitute as indie and commercial nowadays?
Ooh.
Because the lines have really blurred. Because I will say this right now, a lot of people, even still, think Darrington Press, aka Critical Role, is indie, and I would say it's mid-sized to commercial.
So I would, man, honestly, it's a size and scale thing for me, right?
Yeah.
Because, so the things that I would say are not indie: Darrington Press, and obviously Dungeons and Dragons, Darrington Press, MCDM Productions, Kobold Press, Paizo. I think it's very, but on the other hand, there's stuff
Chaosium.
like Chaosium. There's other stuff like Metal Weave Games. There's other stuff like Metal Weave Games, and then there's people who are like sole proprietor of things, right? So, for example, I'm VJH Creations. I'm a sole proprietor. I've got friends that are like just like 1 to 3 groups of people. So I think it's definitely like a scale issue. So essentially, how my brain would picture this is, how hard is it for you to get your books published in a physical location? Like not in a money sense and in a connection sense, right? Because I know that some physical locations will be like, hey, I'm a designer, I made this, can I stop this with you guys? They'll totally let you do that, like in certain places, but that's not the overall kind of thing, right? Like the ones we named would have a much easier time getting things in generally these published locations versus myself, some of my friends, Metal Weave Games, etc., etc., etc. Like, so I think indie as a size, I think, is based on scope. Indie as content, I think, is based on like the systems that you're playing around with, right? Like there's like kind of two different things here in my mind. Like if a I don't think a company, like a small company that's doing Dungeons and Dragons things is inherently indie by topic. I think indie stuff is like closer to, which, man, Powered by the Apocalypse has a lot of stuff going for it, but also like it's like it's a kind of decentralized kind of thing going on with it, not like one like. Because the people who did Thirsty Sword Lesbians aren't also Monster of the Week, and that's like, and Blades in the Dark is not also like, so it's got things going with it, but like the system itself, I would say that's indie, and then like things around that would be indie as content versus indie as a organization.
Yeah, it really is one of those like, what is the threshold? Of when something becomes highly successful. Also, I've noticed a lot of... This is going to sound so, like, haterish, but I've noticed... This is going to sound so haterish, but, like, a lot of commercial TTRPG houses doing Kickstarters for some of their projects, and I'm like... Are you gauging the audience on what they want, or are you just trying to find another avenue to make sure this gets published? And it kind of gives me not the ick, but it gives me the ick. It's like the, how are you, what is the purpose of you as a, like,
entity.
A multi-billion dollar company fundraising your project.
It doesn't quite give me the ick, but it does, like, whenever I see something, I'm like, did you really need to do this, or is this like a, because like for example,
that's my thinking.
Yeah,
is like,
did you need to, or is it just like, oh hey, here's this other opportunity for us to like put as little money into this as possible?
Or it's like, or are you just relying on your audience, your pre-established audience, to be like, I'm getting in on the ground floor and getting like the first edition of something, as opposed to, you know. And hey, if it's because that you want to give something extra special to those who, like, you know, who back this at a certain point, makes sense. It's like, if you're throwing in extras, good on you. But if you're just trying to gauge it for audience appeal, I think you can do that based on already established, like
trends
already
and
established
whatnot.
sales and trends based on your own data, and that makes me go, what's going on?
If that's not an option, I do think more like what is it? D&D does Unearthed Arcana kind of situation, doing something similar to that, to be like, oh, how many people downloaded this? How, like, can I get the feedback on it? Like using that and then going from there.
Yeah, that's another thing, because it's like, I'll give the example. The class packs. I love, let me preface this. Love Darrington Press down. Love them down. Big advocate for Candela Obscura. It needs more shit. I will say this right now. But the class packs with Daggerheart, they specifically fundraised that, like, almost like right after it was done with, like, the first initial shipment. And I'm like, what are you doing? You saw the popularity. It sold out like 3 fucking times. Why are you fundraising for class packs? And then they also have like their own version of I think it's called The Void or something like that.
That is correct.
With Unearthed Arcana, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
You don't need both of those, actually.
What are we doing? It's like, eventually you'll have to let go of the we're just like a small team, and I get they are still a small team. Darrington specifically is a small team if we're just looking at that arm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, which is why like kind of the size of the team didn't factor into like if it's an indie thing for me. Like, I use an example for like my friends, like, hey, it's like 1 to 3 people, but that is less about like even if they had 50 people, but they were still like meeting the criteria for the question I asked, I'd still call them indie. But yeah, it's something.
It's something.
It's
yeah,
something.
It's one of those things. I mean, okay, so we'll get on the topic of Critical Role, because you're quite well known for having discussions around Critical Role and some of the big topics that come up. I wouldn't say you're not a fan. You're just.
I love Critical Role, which makes it so frustrating.
I would say you're not a fan. It's more like you're able to separate and critique something that you like because you have the ability to, because of your past with your creative writing and everything like that, that you can look at this with an objective lens and go, hey guys,
there's little. What I like to say about myself is I'm not a critter. I used to be, but and even then I still had that, like, I can step away from this and like have an analytical look at it. But yeah, no, the creative writing definitely helped, especially when like because I took all of the creative writing like classes, every single one that I could, and there was a lot of critiquing seminars. It was like we had to write things, we had to give people this stuff, like including poetry, which I hate. Poetry. I don't actually hate poetry. It's just not my favorite medium. But I did it. I went into all those classes. I did every single one. I took the criticism from something that was actually mine, like something I put time into, and I was able to be like, okay, they're not criticizing me. They're criticizing my writing. I don't have to feel some type of way about this, right? So yeah, it was a lot easier to pull away. Yeah. So God, Critical Role. I started watching like shortly before the Briarwood arc went live, so I'd been there for a while. Honestly, it'd been like I'd been there for like 15 years. I'd been there for at least like, when did Campaign 3 start?
Campaign 3 started in 2021 because that was the first campaign that I watched live, and I went to the movie theaters to watch it.
Gotcha.
To watch the first episode,
Okay,
which is a whole other experience, by the way.
So I was there consistently for like 6 years. Like, I was there for a while, and there'd been a number of mishaps. Like, the first campaign, they only had white guests, right? And then the second campaign, they had guests of color. Still a majority of white guests, right? But we had people of color, but also we didn't have any consistent, like, people of color on screen the way that, like, white fans did when it came to the main table. And then we get to the third campaign, which still has the lack of like POC representation issue going with it at first. But a lot of us thought Robbie was going to stay, so we were like, oh, and then Robbie didn't stay. And then and then we had the whole Indiana Jones intro, which is really what broke the camel's back for me and consistently watching things. Do you remember when they had like the plinth hats on and they were kind of going through the fucking temple and stuff? It was them actually, like, the live version of them doing that.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Hold on. Was this one of the live shows that
No, it wasn't even the live show. It was their intro sequence. Like, they changed it.
Yes. Okay, you specifically mean like the very much. I was like, oh, I liked it because of the music more than anything. I was just like, oh, intro. Most of the time, whenever the intro happens and I'm watching, I don't even watch.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the music and I'm like, oh, what a beautiful song. Ah, chills. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, interesting.
So we had that whole thing, which for those of you that don't know, they did it was like Indiana Jones-esque, which has its own issues with like colonialism and stuff, very much so. And then a friend of mine, a woman of color, was like, hey, I'm just critiquing this. Mind you, didn't say anything mean to them. Like, was very much like, hey, this is kind of where this comes from. And then that man, whose name I will not say, actually, I hate this guy's guts, went on a huge tirade about it. Got like, she got.
Did he used to have a?
Yes.
He used to have a podcast?
He did, in fact, used to have a podcast. Got like so much. She got so much backlash for this, to the point where I was arguing with somebody, and somebody said, "Well, she called them racist," and I was like, "Oh, she did? Show me. Tell me which of these tweets she fucking said that." I was like, and I didn't like the way that they responded to that happening, which was silence. And I was like, okay, I can't do this with you guys anymore. I cannot defend you guys anymore. And I stopped watching Campaign 3. And then I came back to Campaign 4 because people of color. But yeah, I was in it for a while, and then I was gone.
I've been reading a lot online about Campaign 4 and a lot of people not liking it, and I'm like, I need you to examine why you don't like this. Is
it the style?
Is it because you're so... yes. Is it the style? Because
which
not everybody likes...
Like, rotating
even
tables.
In, multiple tables, the... style. What's the system?
West March?
Yeah, not everybody likes West Marches games.
Super
even
fair.
in person. And that's fine. If it's not your flavor, it's not your flavor. But there's a lot of critiques on some of the people at the tables, and I'm like, I need you to re-examine why you're saying this.
Yeah. Hey. You sure about that? Which I am also behind on Campaign 4 now because I got swamped with work. I'd previously been doing... Yeah, exactly. I'd previously been doing like, let me watch this episode and give you like a 10-minute like reactions as I do it and talking about it. And I really want to get back to that as soon as I have like enough time to get caught up. But yeah, I'm back in it at this point. And also when I was like, hey, I'm done with Critters and Critical Role, that also meant that I wasn't like really engaging with any of the stuff they were doing with Darrington Press, because I think I got a Candela Obscura copy, and I'd been planning on doing something with it, and then the whole like Indiana Jones thing happened, and I was like, I can't do this actually. But back in it, and also doing like stuff for Daggerheart. Yes, also doing stuff for Daggerheart now. So I'm back in the building for the time being, at least.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me as a person who likes watching different media. Campaign 3 also had its issues of just, I think they were trying to fulfill, like, people are used to us doing like 120 plus episodes, when this season could have easily been shorter, especially with all the stuff that they were doing outside. I'm like, hey guys, we get it. You're good. If you want to close this up and finish this story off real loose, not loosey-goosey, but like real tight. I was like, at like episode 90, I was like, damn, y'all still going? Shit. We're still in this? Okay. Alright.
I think
110 rolled around, I was like 120, I was like, okay. Are we wrapping up soon? Like, good on them for wanting to keep like a normalcy, but I think even some of the people at the table were like ready, because at that point I think at like episode 100 and something, they for sure were getting ready for the next campaign, but also doing all these other things. So I was just like, hey guys,
a lot was going on, which I stopped. I think the whole situation happened like maybe like a handful of episodes
early on.
Yeah, after Laudna was resurrected. I remember being there for that. And then after that, I don't recall anything. Wait,
you're like,
yeah, I wasn't there. I know for a fact I wasn't there when Imogen and Laudna kissed for the first time, because of Mutual told me about it. And I was like, I was right. I knew this was gay. From the moment I saw those two together, I was like, this is fucking gay. I know what you are.
This is gay. There is gay. That whole table was pretty gay, though.
Yeah, honestly.
There was a lot of gay happening.
There was a lot of queerness at that table.
I was like, good on you. Good on you. And then there's Travis playing a weird fucking sex pest. Fucking weird little sex pesty guy. I was like, you know what? Good on you, Travis. Do what you gotta do. Not even good on you. It was more like, there were some instances I was like, okay, the joke is past. The joke is past. When critiquing media like this, what can people not even expect, but like, what should people be doing to actually, because this isn't just a Critical Role thing. This has been happening with media in general lately, of not being able to thoroughly critique something without people getting consistently fucking butthurt about people not liking their thing.
Yeah, I think, God, how do I tell you to do that? That's actually a really hard question for me to ask, because I don't think like I said, I
know it has to deal with sometimes your background as somebody who is also I went to grad school. I had to be critiqued a lot on my writing. I was a history major. I got critiqued a lot, not necessarily by my peers, but also my peers, and also people who
aren't your peers,
aren't my peers, about my body of work. It's, I wouldn't say. Just expanding your scope of like understanding media would help, just in general. Like reading a little bit more, like going outside of your comfort zone of like learning things.
So I think as we're sitting here talking about this, I think like exposure therapy in this instance would probably do you a lot of good. Like going out and finding people that are not just like, because there are some people that just do this to shit on like Critical Role and stuff, right? Which consistently has never, like, when I got into this space and when I actually started working in it, it was very much like I want to make the TTRPG space and the industry safe for people with marginalized identities. I want us to be able to come in, succeed, not have to deal with harassment and bullying or microaggressions or this other stuff. I want us to feel as in place in this microcosm as, you know, white, cisgender, heterosexual men, you know, can feel in this space. So it never, like, don't get me wrong, there are some times where I'm just hating on, like, something, but it's typically not, like, in those moments when I'm actually giving, like, analysis and providing evidence, right? Like, it might come from God, this pissed me off so bad, I gotta talk about it now, but it's not, like, me saying, yeah, I'm just doing this because I'm a hater. So finding people that are critiquing them in this way and, like, and I'm not saying find people that aren't angry about it, because just being angry doesn't mean you're wrong, right? And especially for, like, marginalized creators and stuff, when this stuff affects us, we're going to get angry. That just happens. Emotions are real. But finding people that very clearly aren't doing it just for the love of the game of hating on stuff. It's like, this made me angry, this affects me, I'm going to talk about it, and here's, like, my experience, here's the evidence for it, because I know whenever I talk about Critical Role, I give evidence. Like, the last thing I talked about was the issues with Sam and Marisha playing Beauregard and eventually Veth, because Beauregard unquestionably is a woman of color. Veth is arguably a woman of color. Like, if you didn't know the context, I'd be like, hey, is this a white person or is this a person of color? A lot of people would probably be like, yeah, it's a person of color. And in doing that, I had so many sources. I found so much information about this. I was like, hey, here's this, because I sat down and I was like, what are people going to say if I do this? I figured out so many of the contingencies. So exposure therapy for people who are, like, trying to do it in, like, a, hey, this is why this is wrong. Reading, engaging in other, like, fandoms and whatnot that are also doing these kinds of critiques, because I think the ones that you also aren't, like, so emotionally tied to, that you feel like, hey, if they're critiquing this, they're also critiquing my enjoyment of it. Things that you like, but you don't feel like particularly, like, in there, and also, like, following along with the critiques it's being given, so that way you're like, okay, people are doing this, and it's not innately about them, like, trying to critique my enjoyment of it. It's critiquing the show. Especially people that enjoy it and are critiquing it. Because I got so much, just say you want Critical Role to fail. And my go-to was always, even when I was pissed off at them and didn't watch anything, I never wanted them to fail then. I wanted them to be in their allyship. I wanted them to, like, help correct issues in the space because they had such a huge platform. I wanted them to succeed on the mission that they say they want to do, because we need allies, we need collaborators, we need people in positions of power to do things. It's never been about me wanting them to fail. It's about me wanting them to rise to the occasion fully. So finding people that enjoy the media but are also still able to critique it will definitely help. I haven't checked them out, but I know there's a bunch of books that are like that are aimed at helping you analyze media better and whatnot, that you could probably like research and get your hands on if you want to take it that far. Not everybody wants to do that. Super fair. This is, like, my special interest. I like doing it. But at the very least, following people that are critiquing like Critical Role, critiquing any media that you really feel this tight connection to, and, like, coming at it with an open mind, will definitely help you with that, like, kind of analysis.
Yeah, because I've noticed it's not just in the Critical Role space or, like, the TTRPG space in general.
It's everywhere.
It's, for some reason, the past decade. The past decade, for sure, there's been this rise of, like, professional haterism. Like, hey, if I could get that job, I would be a professional hater all the time.
Sometimes you just got to do it for the love of the game, and I accept that. You
know what? If I could get that job and get paid well, being a professional hater, I would be a professional hater. But also, there's this just, like, I mean, I see it all the time on TikTok and YouTube about, like, people who are, like, digesting this and just, like, being like, where the fuck is the media literacy at? Where, like, people not understanding just, you know, they're literally just hating on something, and they're like, why aren't they doing this? I'm like, have you ever thought that maybe that there's a reason and you just don't know how to, like, properly digest this media correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people giving critique on something is not saying things are inherently bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just showing the missteps that could have been fixed later on, or can be fixed later on.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know, it's one of those things. It's like, hey guys, it's okay that people don't necessarily like your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to be individual snowflakes that are, you know, cute and petite and, like, all individually, you know, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are allowed to dislike or like other things that you do not like, or like that you like.
Mm-hmm. And people are allowed to like things in a way different than you do, right? Like, with the caveat, fuck bigots.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
obviously, folks.
Hey, by the way, at this podcast, we say, fuck you if you're racist, homophobic, transphobic.
If you're an ism or a phobic, you know...
Hey, free Palestine, fuck Zionists, fuck Donald Trump, fuck fascism. Period, the end. And this is coming from somebody that used to work for the government. Fuck fascist. I'm one of those bitches. I'm one of those. I was inside the hellscape. I know what's going on. Fuck that shit. And I think that's also, that gets into a whole nother subject of things. Okay, back on topic, and actually back on to actual play. What makes a good actual play to you?
What makes a good actual play to me? Okay, let's see. I've been in a bunch of actual plays, and all of the longer ones have definitely been good. I think there's been a one or two where it's like, wouldn't do it again. Could be worse. One, group synergy, because not every group's gonna gel with each other. You definitely, like, gotta try and find that. I think that every, like, longer thing that I've been in, so more than 2 sessions, or we'll say more than 3 sessions, has, like, I've had really great group synergy, and even some one-shots, like, but that's with people that I already had the synergy with. Like, for example, Total Party Kiss, Strange Hungers, most of us were kind of new to each other, and then we just vibed, and for the time that we were playing, it was like, yo. And then at this point, like, there's friendships that still survive past that. And then, of course, there's also Starlight Tales, rest in peace, that channel, you're missed, where I was in Starfarers, and then I was also in something that used Pathfinder, or Starfinder, what was it called? Divinians. Like, our tables had meshed really well together, and like, when you have that kind of synergy, it's really great. Or right now, I'm in a what's it called? A Midnight on Roseville Beach / Brindlewood Bay game, and there's only, like, my buddy Dan the Baker, in case you guys know Dan, is running it, and
Love Dan. Love Dan down.
Well. Love Dan so much. And I played Blood on the Clock Tower with one of the players, but I'd never played a TTRPG with her. And then the other two I'd never played with. Like, one of them, Tanner, I knew. Sid, never met Sid before in my life. New player. But oh my god, it's like we've been playing together forever. It's what it's like. So great group synergy is very important. Obviously, a very good grasp on the TTRPG you're actually trying to make, not just from the game master's perspective, but from the player's perspective as well. I think, I don't think the players not knowing their stuff makes or breaks a game, but I do definitely think it can drag it down from where it should be if like the player doesn't know what they're doing. And part of that is also on the GM specifically of knowing who to bring in to play something, right? Like I know people know that, hey, you could bring me in to play a complex system. I I could do those, but I have a friend who I was like, I would never bring you into something that's like anywhere, like if it's D&D or higher, I'm not bringing you into it actually. Like you're not gonna mesh really well. And then like having, I don't want to, not every TTRPG actual play has to have a message that they're trying to bring home. You don't have to have that. I know that I enjoy ones that have like a very clear like message. Like I think, like personally, I think one of the messages from the game that we're currently running, in my opinion, is what's too much for the cost of freedom, right? I think that's like a core thing that's happening here. And then the Starlight Tales Starfarers was for us players, we knew the end. Like we didn't know it, but we knew we wouldn't be able to save it, right? And then there's that whole like, hey, the end is here, you can't fix it, like what do you like, that kind of messaging and stuff. And so, for me at least, a very solid message that you're trying to get across. But that being said, I also like silly, goofy, fun little guys. I played in 2 baking TTRPGs, Story Bake, and then one where I was a bug chef, and we were just doing shenaniganry, and it didn't have any greater message. So I think just knowing the audience you wanna push it to, and knowing if you're getting a core message in there, or if it's just like, hey, we're just doing a little guy. We're just doing a little guy.
I love that. What are some changes that you're hoping to see in the AP space in the future?
Yeah.
I know there's probably many, but...
Yeah. So first off, it's still very white dominated, and I think disproportionately to the the actual play space and the people in it. So I'd love to see that changed more. I'd also love to see, like, from the bigger people... Sorry. I'd love to see a lot more experimental, and because I'm seeing, like, from smaller groups, I'm seeing experimental things happening, right? I'd love to see more of that from bigger groups as well, especially when it comes to not using, like, stuff like Daggerheart, Pathfinder, Starfinder, Call of Cthulhu, etc. Like, doing interesting, strange things with lesser-known TTRPGs, which will, like, help those creators, right? I'd like to see more cross-media stuff, actually. I had this idea a while ago that is on the back burner, and I still kind of want to do it. So I have this TTRPG called Hunt RPG, which is getting a revamp. And it was a powered by Firelight system, so it's like dice and cards. Actually, it might just be cards. I can't remember quite yet. But it's set in the Revealed Universe, which is my world, where, supernatural and magical creatures exist. We all know about it. You are a you're a DMEO agent, Department of Magical Entities and Occurrences. You're a vampire. And you have to go hunt other, like, rogue vampires and stuff across the United States. And while that's happening, you're dealing with a bunch of different scenarios that's going on, including your handler, who all the handlers for the magical people, the non-humans, are humans, right? And you're having to deal with, like, the fact that your handler probably doesn't like you as a vampire. Like, and that means that they might not send out the blood that you need to keep going to do this job. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that you're dealing with, right? And I had this idea because I think in the start of this organization, which came into being fully to the whole public in 2015, there was a vampire and another agent. There were 2 agents, and they saved, like, a big-time senator's daughter, but the maker for the younger vampire got killed in the process, but they, like, catapulted the younger vampire into stardom. Like, yeah, this is Agent X. They did this, like, they're the poster child for this, and they threw this person into, like, a lot of, like, the spotlight and fame, and also didn't get them any help in counseling when their mentor / partner died. And so it's this tale of, like, pushing people into things they're not quite ready for, and how that can like delve into like dangerous territory. Because you know how like when sometimes people get a lot of fame and then it's like, oh yeah, booze, sex, and drugs, like that whole thing, and like that gets infinitely worse when you're dealing with a vampire engaging in that stuff. And the way I wanted to do that story was partway a script and partway like actually playing the game to see how the scenarios played out. So I'd love more like kind of cross media things like that where I would love to see that. I think that'd be fun.
I think, yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, especially as things in the actual play space, it's very, you know, like, it's online. There's so much you can do with, like, utilizing different, you know, techniques of whether you're, like, pre-recording something or you're, I mean, for example, at the vampire table that I'm at, one of the vampire tables I'm at right now, the ST is set up a whole Shrek net of like Shreknet is like the like undercover internet for vampires.
Gotcha. Ooh,
and so they can,
cool.
Yeah. So she set up a whole Shreknet for the city that we're playing in, and like there's cool. like little details, little like hints and clues and things like that, and like our backstories and like, you know, I think there's a way to do that if you're willing to, if you're able to. I think I don't know. I miss the old internet where there was like the fan sites of just, I know there's fan sites for certain shows, but I don't know, having your own little like Wikipedia and where people can, you know, update things. I think that that way people engage with, again, this is a different way of engaging with media of, no, exactly. You know, so also that's a whole nother thing.
I'd love to see people do more things in like different like media properties. Like, so it's May 4th and there was a Star Wars weekend, a couple of like, I can't remember what year it was, but there's a fanfic that I read on Archive of Our Own that I go back to yearly at this point, and it was God, what was Finn's, like, it was FN
Finn and...
Was it FN 187 or something like that? Like, was that his designation?
Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, Finn something, yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. And it was like, FN 187 was a stormtrooper. And it was essentially following, like the spreading the rumor of FN used to be a stormtrooper among the stormtroopers, because they're people. And it started a rebellion amongst the stormtroopers that rebelled against the Empire. Like, it was great. And, like, they were following the lives of these guys as they integrated into the, like, resistance, including grabbing kids and taking them away from the bad guys and all that good stuff. And I read that, and for one May the 4th like streaming weekend, I set it in that world and had those stormtroopers going to save a bunch of kids. I'm pretty sure all of them died, but the kids got away. So. Hey,
that's the important note.
Yeah, so setting it and like doing it in those kinds of places as well, I think is also very fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't know. Whenever you said what's the name of the game that you mentioned? It was
Hunt RPG.
Hunt RPG. It was like, this reminds me of Dispatch, and especially with Dispatch being so popular right now, this would be like the perfect time to do something like that. And I'm like,
speaking of Dispatch, you want to know what else is like Dispatch? Hey gang. Hey guys, I don't know if you know this, but I did my first backer kit. My first one ever in February. It was Zine Month, and it was for the game On Call, which is a werewolf emergency hotline dispatching game, which is essentially you're a werewolf who's not allowed to shift during the full moon phase, which is the day before, the day of, and the day after the full moon, because you have to be on call in case anything goes wrong with your fellow wolves. There's 7 scenarios, from toddlers exhibiting werewolf powers when they shouldn't, and the human babysitter's like, I don't know what the hell to do with this, please come help me. All the way to like you have to go save this kid that was being bullied because he can't shift and like fell off a fucking cliff and might die. Like yeah. There's a wide range of things going on there. It's a very simple system. It's a 2d6 to 4d6 depending on if you like re-rolling dice or you don't. very easy to pick up and read, and very easy to very easy to pick up and play, like very quick little guy, 1 to 2 players in the GM. And we fully funded. I asked for $3,017. I got $3,500. And we have a release date to the public, which is July 22nd.
Ooh, right before Gen Con.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
That's right before Gen Con.
I should see if I can get somebody to run to play. Okay. Anyway, getting away from that for a second.
I got you.
Getting away from that for a second. And while it's not open, it's not up for the public or even the backers right now, because I did the Kickstarter, the backer just for like layout and stuff. I wanted to give a really good product. Like I didn't even take any money from it. I was like, you know what, we're just gonna do this, and I'll make money on the back end. However, you can, if you want to have access to it right when it releases and don't want to forget about it, you can go check out the itch page right now and, buy it for when it comes out.
Go drop a follow for the page. The link will be down below.
Yes, the link will be down below, folks.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess this is the perfect time to say, plug your shit, let the people know where to find you and everything like that.
Yeah, so first off, like I said, you can find me everywhere on the internet at VJ's Creations. I'm most active on Blue Sky, TikTok, and semi-sporadically on my YouTube. I'm once again doing another revamp of that because I wasn't having fun. I'm also on Instagram, where I'm slowly but surely uploading like a couple of different videos for my TikTok as well, and whatnot. And okay, so you know where you can find me and talk to me. Now, my games. So, as of right now, actually this is going to change, so I'm not going to say that. You can go on itch.io and find my like indie stuff there. You can go to the DMs Guild under VJ Harris, put like v.j.harris and find all the stuff that I worked on, and on Drive-Thru-RPG. You can like get all any of my stuff there. You can also find me on Start Playing Games, running Colossus of the Drylands, which is a Daggerheart campaign frame. Wild West with it's like Wild West. It's Red Dead Redemption, Colossus, Shadow of the Colossus kind of situation going on. And we've only had like 3 or 4 sessions at this point, so if you wanted to hop in there, well, actually, by the time this comes out, we'll probably have had more of that. But it's very easy to hop in, so come on and join us, folks. And hopefully, by the time this comes out, I'm running my bi-weekly Curse of Strahd Daggerheart campaign. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about that.
The collab of collabs. Ooh. Oh yeah, especially since with the Void they have the undead, right? They have the undead class.
Yeah. And they also have the transformations, which my players are using right now, actually. Some of them are... but yeah, I'm very excited about that. Starting next week, I'm doing a little... I don't know if you guys know this about me. I love Mind Flayers. They're my favorite little guy.
I couldn't tell. What are you talking about? What? Mind Flayers? I should ask, are you a Baldur's Gate 3 fan?
I do, in fact, like Baldur's Gate 3, and I also critique Baldur's Gate 3 and
down
Larian Studios. And
the disappointment of all disappointments right there.
I am, and I got little badge guys that I made out of clay.
Those are so cute. Those are so cute.
It's because I'm a part of the Illithid Defense Department. I'm the deputy director, actually, me, VJ, and then there is a assistant deputy director. I can't remember what I named that person. But yeah, so I love Mind Flayers, and Daggerheart has Mind Flayers, but they haven't officially done anything extra with them besides like it's a Cephalith priest, and I'm like, do you know what you've done? Do you know what I'm about to do? Because I love Mind Flayers when they like turn them into different things. So I'm about to go through the entire monster manual, adversary manual they have, and make a bunch of legally distinct Mind Flayer versions of their monsters.
Yes.
I'm so excited about that. Yes. So that series is coming. And right. So on call, you can go follow the page. Over on Drive-Thru RPG, I participated in Pocket Quest in May. And I made a little guy called Rewind, which I will tell y'all about real quick. Let me pull up the actual blurb because I think it's really good. Let's see, people. Okay. Wait, no, not that one. Boop, 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 boop. Bear with me, folks. I should have had this up already, but I completely forgot about it. Okay, here we go. Rewind. You've been fired from 8 jobs. Your parents are tired of your shit. One more job lost and you're out. You've got 2 strikes at work. And you can rewind time. Are the consequences worth it? A revealed universe TTRPG. So you're just a barista. You're trying not to get kicked out of your house. You've got magic powers, but the more you use it, the more consequences there are. You might irreparably change a relationship in your own life. You might get the ire of your regent, the woman who's in charge of the magical spellcasters in your country. Or you might say be responsible for 50 more people dying in a factory fire, based on what you've done with your magic. It's really, it's a fun little guy, but there are consequences.
Consequences, or here comes the consequence. Here's comes the consequence.
And then of course there's also the gift, which is a little somebody gave you lycanthropy to save you from something. And you're kind of going through the days leading up to the full moon about what happened with you. It's a solo journaling guy. And of course there's Hunt RPG, which is going to have Hunt RPG 2E in the nearest future. Is there any I think hey guys, here's the thing. Maybe if you're not just here to follow me for TTRPGs, you can also go find me on TikTok at VJ the Writer, because I will shortly be documenting my journey to writing a book. And it's also in the Revealed universe. It is a historical fiction set in the town of OC, Florida in 1920 to 1922. And for anybody that's not familiar with OC, Florida, in 1920, there was what is considered one of the largest examples of racialized violence against black people who were in general, but also trying to go vote, and then a mass exodus. So it's got vampires, it's got revenge, it's got racism, unfortunately, but it's going to be a fun time. Sounds weird, but I think going through the process of making it and stuff, because I have one of the books that I need to write it, Raising Racists. Following the process, I think is going to be a lot of fun. And also I'll be talking about the stuff that I'm reading, including Dispatch fanfiction.
Oh, love it. And you know what? The fact that that's part of your reading for prepping for that.
Okay, wait a minute. Dispatch fanfiction is not a part of that thing, but the channel, the profile will be talking about this, talking about the other things that I'm reading, and fanfics that I'm liking, because I want to talk about it to more people.
You know what? Fanfiction is a piece of media that should be taken more seriously, especially with the rise. This is a whole nother rant. Especially with the rise of people taking their shit down and then publishing it.
I knew you were about to say that.
And making money off of it. There's a lot of people doing that lately. And in the past 20 years, who knows? One of your favorite fucking movie series might be Harry Potter fan fiction, and then there's an offshoot of it that's a Twilight fan fiction that might be, whole nother. That's a whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways.
All of my itch stuff is under VJ's Creations. My Drive Thru RPG stuff is under VJ Harris.
There we go. All the links will be down below. That's it. Well, thank you so much, Whoopi, for being on here.
Yeah, I love this.
We were joking about this before we got on here. It took us 3 fucking tries to make this happen because shit just came up all the time.
The first one was my fault. The second one was Shelly's.
The second was my fault. The second one was my fault. I got caught up on cooking dinner and I was just like, fuck! And then third time is the fucking charm. So there you go. thank you all so much for listening to this episode. If you want to go follow VJ, all the links will be down below in the doobly-doo and the down there part and the whatever you want to call it in the show notes. Hey, if you want to follow me everywhere on the internet, you can find me at Shelly Von Miller everywhere, because branding is important. I don't look, if there's more than one Shelly Von Miller, we got a problem. Because I don't know where that, if there is a clone out there, I'm scared. Outside of that, we're going to go record the episode of Table Sets over on Patreon. If you would like to see all those episodes of Table Sets, to include Season 2's Table Sets, paid tiers start at $7 a month, or if you can't afford that, we do have a free tier where you get early access to the podcast, a monthly newsletter, a monthly homebrew with said newsletter, things like that. And yeah, I love you guys very much, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye.